Hey everyone. Just waiting to see if anyone joins. Hey, someone joined. So I'm opening the chat now. I've never done the live stream, so bear with me. So anyways, Mike on Facebook asked me to update my tips and how-to on the Scx24. So that's kind of what I was doing, just showing you what I use for lube and everything. So hopefully a few more people join, but you're welcome to type in the chat. I've got it open on the other phone. Let me know if you guys can hear me and see just fine. I can't zoom out to my wide angle lens for some reason on the iPhone. So you can see in the back here the different lubes that I use. So this is good for in the diffs. It definitely makes it run smoother. The WD-40 is great for the little tiny bearings. You need like a penetrating oil to get into those things. And it's also great if you spray your RC before you go into mud and stuff, and it makes it so much easier to clean and everything, and then just relube it afterwards. But as for motors blowing out, I'm not really sure what can help with that other than lubricating it and keeping it in good shape. Eddie, I'd say leave the foams in. I don't like running without foams because they're too squishy. It's like driving in sand. So it pushes the motor a lot harder. This is a good lube to use in the transmission. I just put one little drop in there and it doesn't really cause a lot of friction like the grease does, and that helps too. Another thing people tend to do is over tighten their wheel nuts, and the spur, the nut that holds that down, you want it to wiggle just a tiny bit. So, also, they're not waterproof. I don't care what anyone says, they are not waterproof. If I can get, I don't know, say 200 likes, that should be doable with 1,000 subscribers. I will take my deadbolt, since I have some spare electronics for it, and I'll run this thing in the roof in muddy water, and we'll see what happens. But we'll see. So, any questions, you guys, other than like tires? I know in my tests, these did the best, the rock creepers, and I'd say these are a close second, maybe third, because with the foams they don't fold over as bad, and the Super Swampers by RGT without foams, they're nice, grippy, soft tires, but they hop and bounce way too much. So I definitely get those and put them on a different wheel and probably with some foams. In fact, I kind of want to get a set of those and then put the foams out of like my Baja Claws here and see how they do. It should like puff them out a bit too. So let me know if you'd like to see that. I will update you that I did get the proper servo for my TRX4. They had to send me the 25 kg, and it's a lot stronger. You'll see that next time I run it. And I did do a bunch of maintenance to this, and I'm going to go run it here right after this and make a little video for you all. Otherwise, I'm not really sure there's too much more to say. The RC four-wheel drive motor I hear is really good, and it has a smaller pinion. So if you can find one of those, I'd grab it. I've heard a lot of good things from a lot of people on the Scx24 groups. And the ECX barrage motor, we all know, is pretty good. So, yeah. Type down there, let me know what you guys want to know. I mean, I can answer questions about any of the rigs. I had to give the little bit more information I found out about these out. You can 4-link the deadbolt, but it doesn't really help. I can do that if you want, but it's going to lengthen the front end, so it might look a little weird. If you're wondering about what tools I use, just so I can show you, my Leatherman, of course, for like grabbing shock shafts and stuff. And then I went and bought this from Hobbytown. It was like 25 bucks. And it's got basically everything you would need for pretty much any RC. So, of course, I added to it, but I'll put a link to that or the Onyx version in the description when I can. Well, what you guys want to know? I'm not going to be on here a whole long time either, so just trying it out. Oh, by the way, that deal with Trio Hobby isn't a sponsorship. I'm just a team driver, so basically I'll just help spread the word about the brand, and I mean, it's up to anyone to look it up or check them out. Great stuff, though. I do recommend you check them out, and I'm hoping they'll update me soon on parts they're going to make for the Scx24, and then, of course, I'm going to have to deck them out. Not like the CR or the C12 isn't already decked out. So, any more questions from y'all? I only see one in the chat. 3 on the other phone, so I don't know which is correct. You gotta let me know if you are there in the comments. So you can see I've got the stock motor in here. It's still holding out. Only issue I've had with the deadbolt is the ESC getting dirty. And whatever was shorting out was frying motors, but cleaning it fixed that. C10, still completely stock underneath, other than changing this tray here to put the battery up front. And of course the lights. And it's handling the weight. It's about 13 ounces. Well, I'm not sure what else I can really talk about when it comes to the Scx24. Just don't trust the stock charger, and definitely get a decent one. And don't go charging the battery crazy fast. A lot of people keep doing that. And other than that, if you get a tire bound and you got to use more than half throttle to really move, pick the thing up. It's not worth overheating the motor because you're almost certainly going to fry it. Same with deep, like soupy mud. It's not really good for motors. Honestly, I'd keep these out of water as much as possible just because the little tiny bearings in them go out so easy. and then you got to buy a whole nother axle, or you got to take the bearing out and go to a hardware store or a hobby store, and you might find the right size there. Uh, if you want to get any of the 3D upgrades, it's all Bang Gear RC on this. And then I've got Kinetic KMS bead locks on both of these. I just painted these ones. This one does have an EMAC servo on it, and that was Mrs. Rabbit who sent me that. Thanks again, by the way. This one's still the stock servo, but I mean, it's been through a couple. It's not the original stock. So what's up, everyone? I'm over here checking the chat and not much on there. You're welcome, by the way, Eddie, if you're still up there. So, I mean, if you want me to do live stuff more often, I can try, but it's a little awkward on my end, and usually I have my girlfriend and her parents here, and everyone's loud. But right now, it's just me, so I figured I'd give it a try. If you're wanting to see underneath, there's not as much going on here as you'd think. Just the brass diff covers, and I've got the brass knuckles. Still haven't done much to the steering. One thing that can be done to help it a little bit is basically you grind off the axle housing right here a tiny bit, and it'll give me more steering, but it doesn't bug me all that much. I do have the full interior glued in there, as you can see. Also, black out your lights underneath, and it won't light up the body so much. Yeah, you can see it's kind of difficult to shut the body, but it's worth it for the details. This one just has the brass bars on here, the version 2 overweights, millstone wideners. I've got rubber washers behind this right here. That helps with the flop a little bit. I've lowered the battery, and that's pretty much it on that one, other than cutting the cage, of course, and making this roof. So, any RC, if you get it, first thing I like to do, at least after a couple runs, is take the thing apart and grease everything. Check all the bolts, because there's bound to be a couple loose, or there's some grease that isn't in there, and even the grease that's in it slings off the gears real quick, like say if it's a basher. So definitely use that. I like the Lucas Red and Tacky because it holds and it stays on there a lot more, so gears don't wear out quite as fast. But just your basic marine grease will work. Sorry, getting tongue-tied. Come on, guys, talk a little bit. Or am I all by my lonesome? I'm just screwing with you. But seriously, ask away, guys. And girls, if there is one on there. I am kind of curious if you want to answer, the three of you that are up there still, or whatever. Would you like to see a live stream with like actual crawling so you can see all the screw ups and how it goes down? I mean, maybe I can invite a friend over and we can do that sometime. And like I said, if I can get probably around 200 on this, which I don't know if that's going to happen, but 200 likes, and I'll take this thing to the roof in some nasty muddy water, like make a bog or something in the backyard, and we'll see how it really handles the water. It's not waterproofed or anything, so I have a spare ESC, I have a spare motor, and a spare servo, so I will do that for you guys. Sorry, my camera was sliding a little bit there. Ah. So, I mean, can't really say anything if you guys don't ask, but I'm probably going to end it here soon. Just, if you haven't seen this far, back up. You'll see what I talked about, and I'll talk to y'all later, I guess. TTFN, have a great one, guys. Keep RCing. Don't forget to like, share, hit the bell notification, maybe subscribe, and I'll talk to y'all later.